Upgrading your bootlaces ensures you're good to roam the wilderness without worrying about your shoes. Get one set of black laces with a sturdy and durable nylon cord structure, each measuring 55 inches in length. Each lace has a flint cylinder on both ends, protected by a detachable rubber tip, and includes a metal striker. If you would like to pause for some time, or it is getting dangerous deep inside your spot, finding a safe place to rest and secure your belongings is the first thing to do. All you have to do is find a tree, make bowline knot and tie it around, then make a marlin spike hitch to hold the bag and let it happen. Preserving meat is a challenging yet useful trick to keep your energy full while you're on your trek. You don't want to eat just wild foods to last the day, so might as well learn how to preserve meat: smoking, curing, and drying. These three strategies are all intended to remove water from food in some way, so inhibiting bacterial development and slowing down the meat's decomposition. Creating your own adhesive is a good thing to learn before going off in the wild, as it can help you in your bushcraft and belongings. To create a strong adhesive, scrape off fragments of resin, sprinkle dry grass on top and crush it into fine powder. Remove impurities afterward, add charcoal and the resin, the rabbit droppings and beeswax, and then drain off the molten resin. Roaming the jungle requires you to have a cast iron stomach. Trying wild foods and researching about those which you can eat is beneficial for your survival. Be safe and confident in your ability to identify wild foods. Understand which pieces are safe to consume and how to prepare them. When you encountered quicksand-prone places, be alert, yet don't panic. Lean back so that your body weight is distributed across a larger area. Moving will not cause you to sink. In reality, slow back and forth movements can allow water into the hole around a trapped limb, lessening the quicksand's grip. Your choice of wood for the chair has a significant impact on a chair's appearance. Peel the bark and split the parts so you can shape them into the desired look for the chair. Mark where you want the pieces joined and knot them together. Make sure the comfortable parts are found on the seat and backrest. Quick release method for paracord wrapping is just winding the rope around and around a handle. A specific approach is used to keep your ends secure until you're ready to deploy your cord. Similar to a standard whipping. Find directions here or learn how to tie a whipping knot. Before your adventure, it is important to have wilderness awareness first and foremost. Inform friends, family members, and the school community about the worth and relevance of wildlife. Volunteer with local organisations to help restore natural woods, grasslands, and coastal environments by planting native species, manually removing invasive plant species, and dismantling old fences while you trek. Along wilderness awareness, learning the 5 C's throughout your journey will help you survive. One method to remember the 5 C's is to associate each one with a critical survival need: cutting tools for constructing and hunting, cover for shelter, combustion for fire, containers for water and food, and cordage for construction and emergency medical help. Once the tree is on the ground, remove the branches and cut the trunk into rounds to put into your vehicle or trailer with a wheelbarrow. Cut the rounds with an axe or motorized splitter. Swing the axe with your entire body and keep your legs apart to avoid cleaving one of your feet. You might encounter the need to soak your feet in the water while you're in the jungle. It's exhausting and painful to deal with it along the way. One of the easiest ways to dry it is to place hot stones or bottles of hot water inside your boots to dry them from the inside out. To sharpen your knife, the tip of the knife should be pointed away from you. Rest your fingers, except for your thumb, on the blade's flat surface. Your thumb remains on the handlebar grip. Drag the knife across the whetstone in a circular motion, keeping the angle consistent. Keep doing this until you achieve the sharpness you are aiming for. Camouflaging in the jungle is one way to ensure your safety while strolling. This strategy helps you blend in with your surroundings in case of a wildlife attack. You can use moss, trees, woods, leaves, rocks, or dark-colored clothing to blend in with your surroundings. The debris shelter is made with sticks and any accessible debris, such as leaves, moss, ferns, or bark. Pile leaves, moss, pine needles, and others you've collected on the frame. To secure the front, construct a wall and door to keep the heat in. Use sticks, moss from the woodland floor, and a few nails. Emergency signals include putting items in trees and arranged around your area where they can be clearly seen. Use bright-coloured items to spell out HELP or SOS in at least 12-foot block letters on the ground. If you don't have bright-coloured items, use rocks, dirt, branches, or anything else that will stand out in contrast to the ground. Try not to overpack when preparing for your journey. Always start with the most essential things first, those that can provide you the basic needs and safety. This will help you move, walk, or run more easily when needed. Be aware of the resources available in the forest so you can lessen the things you have to bring. The essential oil from balsam fir needles is anti-inflammatory and antibacterial. Its thick, sticky resin can also be used to treat wounds and sore throats, as well as to prepare vitamin C-rich tea. When you see bumps on a balsam fir, poke them gently with a stick or with your fingers. The sticky liquid will then come off. If you need an easy made, all you have to do is roll 2 long logs parallel to one another and about 3 feet apart to make the bed frame. Fill the spaces between the logs with long twigs. If you can find dry leaves, they can make an excellent comfort. Using a net needle and gauge card, weave a simple net that may be used for a variety of purposes, such as gill nets for fishing, landing nets or spare bags. This results in a much more consistent mesh size, and you can build the net inside of your shelter. Primitive tribes have produced nets in this manner, and it is an excellent bushcraft skill to have. Exposing yourself to a variety of obstacles in the wild keeps your mind alert and opens up new learning opportunities. Try to do these with friends to slowly build up your confidence in the wilderness. You can all work together, setting up a camp, preparing meals, bushcraft, trying wild foods, and simply enjoying the company. Fungus is a creature mostly found in the wilderness. You can find different types around as you walk, on the ground, in the trees, and even beside lakes or streams. It's important to learn about different types of fungi because some of these can be eaten, some can harm you, and even poison you. They also have more uses other than being eaten, which can totally help in your survival. Learning the types of knots is one of the most essential techniques you must learn before your journey. You'll be capable of making sturdy furniture, accessories, bushcraft, and safety needs out of the only resources you have just by learning the knots you might need. Knowing your route is one of the basic things you have to learn before entering the wilderness. Don't let your guard down if you're already familiar with the place. Know where the useful spots are, where you can take a rest safely. Build shelter, especially when weather conditions aren't good. Get food, water, woods, and other essential things in case you run out of them. Another skill you might want to learn is understanding the types of wood in the jungle. Most of your things might come from these, such as a bed, shelter, cups, weapons, and even the food or oils you need to survive. Do research of what woods you can find in your spot, and which of these are best for the purpose you are planning for. Insect repellent sprays might not be one of the first things you'll put on the list when packing, yet it is essential for your comfort and safety, especially when you sleep in the wild. In case you will need one, all you have to do is poke holes into a used can or bottle and put a smoking wood inside, let the surroundings absorb the aroma, and insects will start going away. Learning how to swiftly climb a tree is very helpful, especially if you come face to face with a wild animal. To do this, run with a moderate speed at the trunk. Plant the ball of your dominant foot on the tree and push up on it while jumping with the other foot. Throw your arms up to capture the branch, or use one arm to grip the trunk and the other to grab the branch. The compass enables more accurate navigation, which can you as you explore. Basic knowledge of how this device works is important to understand where you are in your travels. The Earth's magnetic field exerts a force on the compass needle, causing it to revolve until it rests in the same horizontal direction as the field. Always remember the high, low and intermediate axe blow placement techniques. Perform 3 forehand strokes, followed by 3 backhand swings. If you're standing on the log, your first swing should be high at the top, the second at the bottom, and the third in the middle. To make a fish hook as simple as possible, simply cut a slanted opening in the bottom hole of a tin can's cap tab. Then, begin cutting away as much metal as you can around the hook. File the hook to a sharp point. Here's where you'll tie the line to the hook. Fishing equipment, such as a simple hobo hand line or hobo reel, can also be made from accessible materials. This is an excellent addition to your bushcraft since it's compact, portable and light. You simply need basic tools to create one, and it's an excellent project to do at your camp or at home on a wet day. Protecting your feet is essential, as a cut to the foot can pose major problems in a survival situation. These sandals, just made from roots, can keep the soles of your feet safe for a while if you don't have spare shoes. For added comfort, some moss can be tied around it to form a soft insole and strapping. Aside from camping with friends, hiking with them is also one way to prepare yourself for the obstacles that you might face while walking in the wilderness. This can help you venture your routes safely and more assuredly than journeying all alone. It also opens your eyes to the possibilities and uncertainties you might encounter there. To start a fire without a match or lighter, gather dry grass, leaves or sticks to use as tinder. Rub a stick against dry wood to create friction and sparks. Preparing the woods to add is also important in case you need bigger flames. While you're in the wilderness, there are a lot of risks that may follow, including changing weather conditions. You might also have to soak yourself into the water that might leave your shoes and socks wet. Even if this happens, make sure that you keep one pair dry. This way, you have a pair to keep you comfortable and away from too much bacteria, or when the day gets cold. To start a fire using flint and steel, strike the steel on the sharp edge of a hard stone, and sparks emerge when the rock tears off tiny bits of hot steel. The sparks are directed towards the tinder bundle, which has been prepared to receive them when they fall. The spark is then blown into a flame. To make the easiest wooden cup, just grab a birch wood and gently peel off its bark, do a circular cut, and roll it to make it cylindrical or dipper shaped. A birch bark is soft and smooth, yet hard enough to hold ounces of water. It is fast to make, and you can repeat it over and over in case you need water. If you're working with wild collected branches to build a dead hedge, a tip is to sharpen one end of each branch before you begin, since this will make them much simpler to push into the ground. The length of your wooden pegs or branches determines the height of your hedge, so choose branches accordingly. Carrying a stick while walking is a doable tactic to ensure safety. This way, you have a weapon to scare off wild animals like snakes, frogs, big lizards, or bears. Another use of this is to prevent tripping from any unnoticeable ropes or branches in the jungle. If you're in a survival situation, duct tape is effective for patching a variety of holes, including those in bottles, weapons, bags, small boats and tents. Twisting it also creates a durable rope or cable that can be utilised for a variety of emergency purposes. It is also flammable, so if you run out, you can use it as a fire extender. You might find yourself looking for a drink to keep hydrated in case you run out of water, especially during the winter season in the wilderness. And all you can find is snow everywhere. This is to remind you that snow should not always be safe. If the snow is lily white, you can safely consume it. However, if the snow is coloured in any manner, you must stop, analyse it, or better yet, don't consume it in any way. To build a stealth shelter, make sure you have enough branches, leaves, rocks, netting, sacks, basic needs, accessories, and a good safe spot underground to stay in. The most basic shelter is a fallen tree with enough space beneath it for you to crawl in. Lean branches against the tree's windward side to form a strong wall. Birch oil can be used for waterproofing, staining, and rust prevention of your belongings. It is also antibacterial and eliminates odours. In case you're injured, birch oil can also be used to reduce inflammation and relieve pain. This can be extracted by removing the bark, breaking it into little bits, and extracting the contents in alcohol. Filter and bottle the liquid for future use. Running water and groundwater are the common water sources in the wild, and gravity causes them to be concentrated in valleys, ravines, and other low areas. Thus, the faster the water flows, the better. Always prioritise running sources above groundwater, but still, if you can boil it, do so. While in the wilderness, be aware of what is going on with your surroundings. Pay attention to signs, footprints, and most especially, animal tracks. When these are found, don't go easy wandering around or following. Stay away from the spot if possible, and keep an eye out for wild animals. Making a water container in the wilderness is very possible once you find the best items. All you have to do is choose a strong yet easy to carve log and strip off its bark. Then carve out from the center of the log until it's thick enough. Wrap with cordage from sturdy roots to ensure it holds the water without dripping. A torch allows you to see potential hazards, find their way in the dark, and signal for aid in crises. To make one, shape your logs depending on the amount of light you might need, then soak them in fuel. You can wrap them around a stick with through nails or staples. With an upside down empty bottle, put charcoal in it to help purify the water from another bottle. Start dripping the dirty water onto the charcoal filled bottle to filter it until you get clear water. Boiling will also ensure all germs and bacteria are killed. To start a fire with hand sanitizer, take a bottle of gel hand sanitizer, add a pinch of salt, and shake it up. You'll have pure alcohol that will ignite with the slightest of sparks. The salt isolates the gel components from the extremely flammable alcohol. Spray it onto cotton balls or straight on your tinder. Make a hole on one side of the can toward the bottom. Next, poke or drill smaller holes all around the top of the can. You can add extra holes to the bottom for more oxygen. Add some tinder and kindling, then light it. Cattails are well known for the edibility of their starchy root. It produces food, shelter construction materials, cordage, medicine, and fire-starting materials, which is quite astounding for such a common, diverse, and easily identified plant. Basic first aid it can be extremely useful in common circumstances such as choking, cuts and bleeding, burns, fractures, sprains and cardiac arrest. Knowing how to give effective first aid can avoid more harm, enhance healing and possibly save a life. First, pour some potassium permanganate on the ground. There should be some open area in the centre for sugar. Pour it into the centre, no more than 2 to 3 drops, and mix it using a stick. Keep mixing for 10 seconds and the reaction will occur. Gather leaves, twigs or logs to ignite the fire. Preparing your gear is the next thing you have to do after setting up your route. Ideally, your gear must meet the following needs: transport, load carrying, navigation, shelter, clothing, fire, food, cooking, hunting, trapping, fishing, wild edibles, water, first aid, tools, and winter. Acorns are particularly strong in potassium, iron, vitamins A and E, and a number of other essential elements. They are naturally very bitter when gathered. So, to make acorns edible, boil and drain the tannic acid out of them. Charred wood has a remarkable blackened timber appearance. It burns a lot quicker than regular wood. That's why it's more suitable for building a fire. It also increases the endurance of the timber and is essential for providing warmth, cooking food, and signalling assistance. Pine pitch is used as a general adhesive. The normal ratio is 1 part charcoal to 3 parts resin. Once the resin has melted completely, add the charcoal. If you apply too much, the material will become too brittle for this application. If you use too little, it won't be as strong, so don't force it to be perfect. The bow drill is the most efficient at sustaining the speed and pressure required to generate coal, and it is also the easiest to master. The combination of the correct fireboard and spindle is critical to success, so experiment with several dry softwoods until you discover one that works. To build your wigwam shelter, wrap 2 to 3 saplings around your wigwam structure, about 3 feet above the ground. Overlap and knot the ends of the saplings together. Attach them to the wigwam frame itself, where the poles connect. You can use poles to mark your entrance. Practice and tracking is essential to develop and maintain a high level of skill. Take some measurements and calculate an average to assist you locate missing tracks and lost pathways. You could measure from heel to heel on the same foot, or from right to left heel. A tiny shark or dogfish may have skin ridges that are approximately 80 to 220 grit and cut in one direction while polishing in the other. Tanning softens the skin, making it more usable, although raw hide can also be mounted on wood to produce a file or rasp-like tool. Even in survival situations, water should be boiled whenever possible if you don't have enough bottled water. This will eliminate the bacteria present in the water to be able to drink it. You can also add a pinch of salt to ensure germs and parasites are killed. A bearing block is something we may grip in our hands to impart pressure to the drill while we spin it to create the wood shapes needed. The string and bearing block are often the 2 bow drill components that are most difficult to obtain naturally. Yet these materials are one of the most effective when it comes to making a fire in an instant. Not all the food you be bringing in your adventure is the only food you can consume, since you can't pack every meal in your bag. Hence, learning how to get fresh fruits like berries and mushrooms, and learning how to fish and cook are all important skills. Even in surviving in the wild, throat rinsing is as important as doing it as your daily routine. You encounter a lot of taste tests as you walk around, and lots of bacteria may go into your mouth if you don't clean these foods properly. Thus, throat rinsing even with just salt water is considered essential to keep your taste buds clean. Avoid eating anything unless you know what it is, particularly plants. If you can't recognize it, avoid eating it. Before you begin foraging for food in the wild, you need not only to have a book to help you locate editable vegetation, but also take survival classes with professionals who are familiar with the area. Carrying a survival shelter with you at all times can be difficult. However, this is 3.3 ounces. Shelter is so little and light that you won't realize it's there until you need it. This DIY project is simple and inexpensive. and it includes everything you'll need to build an emergency shelter. You can also start a fire using a ferrocerium rod. Just place the striker on top of your ferro rod facing the back. Pull your ferro rod back while keeping your striker steady and controlling the direction of the sparks. The bark from dead trees is an excellent source of natural cordage. Simply remove lengthy portions of the layer between the wood and the outer bark and bundle them together. The dried inner skin of fibrous plant stalks, leaves, and even dry grasses will all serve your purpose. Simply piling enough leaves, grasses, and pine boughs over a frame, such as a lean-to or debris hut skeleton, will result in a waterproof roof tile over your head. Another approach to keep your survival shelter waterproof is to use bark slabs on the top and sides. Bark slabs can be seen on dead trees. You will need baits such as fish leftovers, pork or cat food to catch crayfish. These should be tightly fastened or tied inside the trap to prevent the crayfish from readily removing it. Determine suitable sites where crayfish are known to exist. Crayfish commonly inhabit rivers, streams, and lakes. A feather stick is a length of wood that has been shaved to form a cluster of thin curls sprouting from it. When dry tinder is in short supply, damp wood can be used to ignite a fire instead. Begin cutting long, thin curls at one end of the stick. Work your way backward, swirling your cuts to form a shaggy-looking stick. When looking for a head torch, always check the lumens and know the purpose of buying one and when you plan to use it. Additionally, take into account the maximum distance it covers and the beam shape. This way, it can be a lot more useful for your journey. A map and compass are the most trustworthy outdoor navigation tools. The map depicts locations such as highways, trails, and bodies of water in relationship to the cardinal directions. The compass is used to align the map with the cardinal directions. Using emergency communications tool is the best way, in case you would like to travel to a very unknown spot in the wild. This way, you can connect with friends so you can give live updates of your mission, or provide them news about the things that you are seeing around in case of emergency.